Hello everybody, we're out here today at Jordan Lake, and it's actually my first time out at this location anyway, but I came out here to just test out my new camera, which is a Fuji XM1, and also I'm just going to walk around and just take a few photographs of the lake, and then I'm going to point out some of the rules of composition that I'm using. Mostly lines of direction and rules of the thirds, and also some contrast situation. I mean, it's a beautiful day. We got a few clouds out there. Right now I'm just sort of walking in the wooded area here to avoid the wind, but gorgeous day, fall day. So let's go take a few more photographs and then we'll have a look at the images. Thank you for watching. Well, we just got done taking some photographs at Jordan Lake, and it really turned out to be a beautiful, warm fall day. And I actually came here to do a test on a camera that I just purchased, and I wanted to walk around and just test it out. And just to show you the camera that I was testing, it's called a Fuji XM1. And I just got this, so I was running through all different things that it does, experimenting with it. And it's a great camera, by the way. So somebody looking for basically it's a point and shoot, but you can also use it manually, or you can use it to full control. But mainly it's a point and shoot that's going to give you professional results. And like I said, also shoots manual if you want to do some really creative things with it. And one thing I really like about this camera is that you could do some post-processing with this camera that you don't have to do afterwards. Many of these photographs that you see here were taken straight from the camera's file. Of course, we reduced the file resolution, but many came straight from the camera, and there was some cropping that we did on some, which I'm going to show you, and then some enhancement done too, which we'll talk about. But the neat thing about this camera is the quality that comes right out of the camera, right out of the digital file. And it's got certain things on here that I used. I shot some in it's called a dynamic tone, which we're going to look at then. So, okay, well, let's take a look at the photographs. And some of the rules of composition that I use here are mainly the rule of thirds, a lot of diagonal lines. Like you see here, using lines of direction is going to give your image more dimension, more depth. So it's a neat way of turning a two-dimensional photograph or image to giving it the appearance of three-dimensional. And like in this case here, it starts off, so we're using lines of direction combination. Rule of thirds up on the top left, which we have the clump of trees on the top left here as well. And the next image here, we have same image basically, but I changed the camera setting into advanced mode, and then I chose the dynamic tone filter. So what this did was just give the image a little bit more contrast. It's kind of neat. It's a nice effect. And also this camera has a setting on here which is black and white, and then you would choose from several different colors which of those colors are going to be shown with black and white. In this case here I chose blue. So we have just black and white and blue. In this case blue sky, and some of the blue skies reflecting in the water. And then walking down the lake here, I just spotted this couple that were playing with their dog in the lake, and here I utilized, again, the rule of thirds, the group of trees on the left third of the image. And I used something else here too that's called contrast, or in light values. As you can see, the couple is in silhouette, and that's light values. So it's just a nice way of attracting attention. And of course we have the horizon line, or the tree line, is in the lower thirds of the photograph as well. Now, in this next image here, we're going to use something called patterns. Now, many times you can use patterns in your composition. And then here, in this case here, of course, we're using the waves as patterns to sort of offset it. combination with the thirds up on the top right. And notice that the horizon line or tree line is located now on the top third of the image. Many times I'll also look for ways of framing. In this case here we have the tree, which is framing the lake somewhat, and it's also on the right thirds of the photograph. And then here we have some nice tones in this image as well. Beautiful, beautiful sky set up with these beautiful clouds. And again, here we're using this old tree sort of framing the lake as well as we put this into the top or the right third of the image. And then we can also see the diagonal line leading out, giving the image a little bit more depth. Now, many times when people go to the lake, they'll see the lake and they'll say, wow, this is beautiful here. I'm going to take a photo. So they'll aim their iPhone or their camera and they'll shoot a picture of the lake just straight out, which is okay. But if you look around though, you can really find something to enhance that image. And in this case here, we just turn to the right here, and then we can see the beautiful sun starting to go down. Now, the neat thing about if you ever want to photograph a sun, and of course many times they will tell you don't shoot into the sun. Well, I shoot into the sun quite a bit, but you do have to be careful that you don't get any glare, lens flare. But here, when you shoot into the sun and then you want to photograph the sun, if you go down, if you change your setting to the smallest aperture, here in this case I put it on f22, it gives the sun a nice star effect, so we get that. And then here of course we have the horizon line on the bottom thirds. We're using the contrast light values with the dark area of the clouds and with the white area of the clouds, just giving some nice contrast.